Did you know that Gamescom is the world's largest gaming event? In 2018, it had 370,000 visitors and 1,037 exhibitors from 56 countries attending the show. You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, and welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode number 46. My name is Gareth Bridie. I'm going to be your host, and on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. How you doing?
Hello. I'm not too bad, thank you.
Good.
How are you?
Very good. On my virtual right is Mr. Richard Dobson. How you doing, Richard?
Hello again. Good to see you.
Very good. And on my virtual opposite is Mr. William Caruana. Have I said that right? I've said that wrong again. It's like a mental block.
Caruana. Not to worry.
It's the best name in the world as well. How are we doing? So
virtual opposite. That's always nice. I'm doing good. Yourself?
Yeah, good. We're doing a foursome again.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, and that's exciting. We're doing a Gamescom special and a foursome. There probably would have been a lot of foursomes at Gamescom, but we're doing our own in the virtual world.
Steady on.
Steady on.
I'm not sure it's that sort of event.
What stays?
What have we signed up
What
to?
happens in Cologne stays in Cologne. That's the rule of Gamescom. Okay, everyone. That's it. We're going to do a Gamescom special today. We're going to talk about our sort of highlights of all the games we found of interest, and we've got quite a few to get through. First of all, let's just go around to the three of you. Thoughts? Did you think it was a success? Did you think it was a failure? William, what did you think?
I think that the opening night live was a bit of a disappointment. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think that there was a ton new there. There seemed to be a lot of filler to hit the 2 hours, from like a 10-minute long slideshow sort of animatic thing for what was it? World of Warcraft. Not a lot of Xbox there, and I think it was kind of unfair that they were put in with the commercials, because they actually did bring some stuff of good content, like Age of Empires 3 Definitive. Mm-hmm. That said, the rest of Gamescom, IGN's coverage, and Games Radar's Future Game Show, I actually have really liked. So, yeah.
Yeah. Good. Richard?
Similar. I thought that the opening night live was okay. It was nice to get more details on existing announcements that Jeff Keighley had sort of put out beforehand. He'd said that there wasn't going to be tons of new stuff, and it almost felt like that this was to sort of let people down gently that were expecting massive announcements. But I also agree that the whole World of Warcraft thing, they showed that first part of that 4-part animation, I felt was very unnecessary. I mean, I'm happy to see more World of Warcraft, but I'm not going to be tuning into the rest of that animated series.
Yeah. I think it was I'm going to go to James, but I think for indie games it was successful, wasn't it? Some good showcase of some new indie games. James, what did you think?
I think if you went into it expecting anything, you'd be a little bit disappointed. But I went in with no expectations and just had a good experience. It was all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst. It wasn't the best. We saw a variation of games.
Yeah.
Which always helps.
Yeah.
But as an Xbox gamer, it was disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll talk about this right at the end. We just have a little chat about the new consoles and what we expect. But let's start with the games. I mean, the big one on the opening night, which we're going to start with, was the Ratchet and Clank gameplay about 10 minutes long. Richard, what was your? Can you lead us into this? What was your? What do we see? What was it?
This was the new Ratchet and Clank game, A Rift Apart, which I believe they said was going to be a sequel to Into the Nexus, which came out on the PlayStation 3. So there was a Ratchet and Clank game on the PS4, but that was sort of tied in with the film that they did, and it was almost like a relaunch of the first game with elements of later ones in. But this one seems to tie back into those before that, and it was really just an early level gameplay where Ratchet and Clank were obviously going around, and it's very immediately felt very familiar for Ratchet and Clank fans with the guns and the shooting mechanics, and then it sets up the rest of the story with Ratchet shooting I can't remember the name of it, the gun that the bad guy had, and sort of displacing time and space basically, and opening up all the dimensions. Which is then the premise for this game is going to be traveling through different worlds, and there being portals into different worlds dotting up all over the place. The big thing is that you'll be able to travel in and out of these worlds on the new consoles with the increased firepower without any loading times.
Yeah. I mean, it looked great. It did. William, do you like the way it looked?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not the biggest fan in the world of the property, but it looks like a good time. And, at least in terms of a technical showcase, I think it really comes down to Ratchet for the PS5 and Flight Sim for the Series X right now. And yeah, it's very impressive what they're doing with the SSD. So.
It's when I kind of saw, because I'm just playing the PS4 Ratchet and Clank, so I've never played any Ratchet and Clank before, so I'm just playing it now. And on the PS4 Pro, it looks great. That game, that Ratchet and Clank game looks amazing. But I was I could see that kind of the level of detail, the level of how many things were going on the screen.
The particle effect, so much.
Yeah, it was mad. There was a lot going on as well, and then with the portal jumps as well, it was very impressive. James, are you going to get this?
I'm not sure. I never played Ratchet and Clank before. But I was more interested in after the gameplay, they discussed the haptic feedback that's integrated into the weapons.
Oh, the dual sense.
Yeah. So when you're shooting the shotguns, if you pull it halfway, it'll just shoot one bullet. You pull it all the way, it'll shoot both barrels. Which I thought was quite cool. A nice little gimmick.
Yeah.
And I like that you can level up the weapons as well to make them more powerful the more you use them. So it's quite a good idea. I'm tempted. If we get a PS5, I'd play it.
Yeah, and it's a launch title, isn't it? That's what they.
No.
Launch window.
Okay. Launch window can mean up until next November, so you gotta be careful with these. I believe Drive Club was a launch window title.
Really? So it could mean up to next November.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, launch window.
I was expecting
launch window
Christmas.
Is one of those marketing. Yeah.
That is amazing. So you. Wow.
You never know.
That's great.
It could mean everything from launch date to Christmas to April to next November. So I don't know.
You can't say that. You can't go launch window.
I could sense that when they were saying it, that they weren't going to be close to the launch. Really.
Is that in a response to Halo Infinite delay then?
Wow.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, Insomniac is very busy. They've got Miles Morales, which they have to get out for launch here. They've got this, this is a vertical slice, and what they showed was mostly the same gameplay as last time. Especially now that everyone switched to work from home, it's a lot more difficult. But I think the fact that they said launch window over holiday 2021 like they did for Horizon means we're probably seeing it more towards the first half of 2021. I don't know, maybe they just announced, hey, and it's coming out in December 12th of this year. Who knows? But
I automatically thought this is the game they're going to launch with. Wow, good. Thank you, William. Thank God you're here. That's helped us. Launch window. I imagine launch window within a couple of weeks, not a year.
Yeah.
Wow, good. Learn.
Comfy.
Good. Ratchet and Clank. We're going to move on because there's loads to get through. Dragon Age 4. BioWare. So they introduced not a trailer. It was kind of just an introduction video to the making the game. They had some artwork, some of the new locations. They had you saw some characters getting built and about what they can do. And generally they were just talking about how excited they are with the and this seemed to be this looks really early in development, doesn't it? It looks like it happened last week. And so I don't imagine this will be coming out for at least a couple of years. But it's something that what they showed, the fans were really pleased with. I think they just wanted a confirmation that this was going to happen, and they're working on it. And there was some voice acting work there as well, wasn't there? Am I going
Motion
mad?
capture.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe they're more close, but it's probably a longer time. Have any of you lot played the original Dragon Age games?
Yeah.
Richard, big fan?
I've played all 3 previously and not finished a single one. And that's not because they're bad games. They are just big RPGs. There's a lot of lore in there in those 3 games, as you'd expect from BioWare. But they are. I think Inquisition was the last one. That might have been 2014. And again, I played that for about 30, 40 hours and felt like I barely scratched the surface, but I had a brilliant time with it.
Yeah.
So they are good games.
I think Inquisition, was that over 360 and the Xbox One? It was on both, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Even I played that one.
You played it?
30 minutes. Yeah, for 30 minutes. I gave it a good go.
I've played them all as well, and I've played them all the way through. So actually, I think I'm a fan. It's never. I've never been 100% sold on it. It's not been my kind of thing, but I've really enjoyed them, and I've enjoyed the characters as well. I've enjoyed the recurring characters that come back. There's a witch character. There was one that was a bit rubbish. I think maybe it was number 2.
Second one, I think, was the least well received.
That was the one that you're in a city. Mostly, you weren't really going out into the world. It felt like you were just in a sort of like city landscape. Yeah. Third one was great though. Yeah, William, you enjoy Dragon Age fan?
I'll say this: I have them all. I don't think I've touched them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think the thing is I have such a massive backlog, and as you were saying earlier, these games are so long, so I'm sitting back going, okay, well, I can play another season of Life is Strange, or I can, tackle a year's campaign, or I can spend 80 hours in Dragon Age, and so that's always sort of, put it down the pecking order, so to speak.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I need to get around to it. They look like brilliant games. So.
Yeah. And I'm sure this is. I mean, the biggest thing about the new consoles, which everyone's keeps telling us, is they're going to be the big thing for open world games is going to be how these consoles tech can be used, and that can be very exciting for Dragon Age. I think we're going to get a lot of huge open world games like this in the next 2 or 3 years. Got this feeling, massive kind of games.
Yeah.
And there's talk, that Obsidian's next game, Avowed, is going to be about as big as Skyrim, so on the smaller side. I'm assuming on the smaller side here, but they are focusing more on having a bunch of NPCs and interactable environments. So maybe if Dragon Age is a bit smaller, but has a really packed city like they showed in that Anthem demo years back, this could be exciting.
Yeah. Good. Let's talk about the next one. which is now this is a launch title now, isn't it? They've confirmed this. It's not in
Are you
launch
sure?
window.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah,
launch title. They said Xbox Series X has actually got a launch title, and it's a game called Haven. And Haven is an RPG. It almost looks like a little indie game. We knew it was coming to PS5, but it's going to come to Xbox Series X first, and then PS5 maybe a bit later on. And I think it's on the Xbox One and the PS4 as well. But we saw like a 10-minute piece of gameplay running on the Xbox Series X, using its fancy, whatever it's 4K 112. I don't know, special science specs, and it's a RPG, and it's a co-op RPG. You play these two lovers who are going to go traveling around this world, and it's mixing kind of exploration, turn-based fighting. There's cooking. There's some sim stuff in there. It looks good. I was kind of, at least we've got something new to play. A little indie game. Well, maybe it's not a little indie game. It looks like a big game. It looks like a big RPG. Do you like the look of this, you lot, William?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the full gameplay demo, but from what I've seen, it looks quite good. And as well, it's just nice to have some games running on the hardware.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly. James, do you like this? I think this could be you.
I liked how they were encountering enemies as they were gliding around the world. I thought it was quite cool. And it transitioned into the battles.
Like an old-fashioned RPG.
Sure. Yeah, but I'm not sure I really need a romantic co-op game at the moment.
You can play it with me on co-op.
It's local, unfortunately.
All right, okay. Is it actually local? Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
I quite like
that's
that.
the only reason. Sorry, mate.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you can just do locally. That's quite good. That's a good
Yeah, you
thing.
drop in and out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. It's something like, I think that's it. It's something. It's a new game. It's coming out on the Series X on launch day. That's not, and it's free. It's on Game Pass for us.
Oh, it
if
is?
You've got Game Pass.
Awesome.
That's a winner.
Yeah. So there you go. Richard, you like that bit before we move on?
Yeah, looked good.
Yeah.
I'll probably give it a go if it's going to be on Game Pass then.
I do think at the moment, I think this is I think we said this before, I think at the moment, especially with the new console, this is the time for the indie games to thrive. Because I think they're all still coming out in November, December. And I think
There's plenty of them out there.
Yeah.
There's tons of them.
Tons of them we know are coming. And it's going to be really interesting. I think if you can get something on the new consoles, it's going to sell well as well. People are going to buy. Let's go to Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, which was meant to be coming out this year. James, tell us all about it. What do we see?
Well, we saw that it's going to be jam-packed, this Lego game. You can have levels from all 9 films. And you can play them in any order. So you can jump into the Phantom Menace, do a bit of pod racing, or you can go to Rise of the Skywalker and pretend you're Rey. So it's going to be more of the same though. It's like at the end of the day. You get smash things, collect bricks, and move on.
Well, you sold it to me, James.
I'm a Lego fan.
do you know what? I looked at it, and I haven't played a Lego game for a long time, and I was sold a bit because it looked really good. I like the kind of, it looked a lot larger. What's the word? There's more kind of, the backgrounds looked really impressive.
Yeah, there's more to it nowadays, but when you play a lot of Lego games, they don't really change that much. If you buy it, you're buying it for a bit of silly humour.
Yeah.
Like we saw in the trailer.
It was funny.
And the pause.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of nostalgia. I mean, I was quite excited when I saw it was General Grievous and Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
It'd be a nice little throwback. But Lego's Lego. I don't know how much more they can milk it.
Richard, you feel the same?
I do. I feel
Oh.
exactly the same. I like playing the odd Lego game every now and again, but there's no change in the gameplay, and you are buying it for the IP that it's taking on this time more than anything else.
William, you're going to help. You're going to back me up here. You excited by this?
Honestly, it looks fun. It has a couple good visual gags in there. The bit with the plastic lightning, Palpatine throwing out.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty good. I don't know. I'm a bit of an original trilogy and prequels purist, but that's just me. I don't know. I'll give it a win if it goes on Game Pass. I think
Okay.
it's one of those sort of games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not coming out till when is it? Spring 2021.
Spring 2021.
Yeah. So that's launch window. Still in the launch window.
It'll be on all
Oh wait,
platforms.
I saw a tweet that said launch Windu, like Mace Windu.
Very
launched
good.
out the window.
Very
Yeah.
good. Very
So
good.
3. That was good.
Right. Good. Call of Duty. Cold War. James, this is you're the expert in this.
Am I?
Let's hear
I've
from
been
you.
to Black Ops for years.
This
I like
is
that game.
this is a sequel to the first Black Ops. So there's how many Black Ops games were there? There was
I played
4.
4.
4. So this is
War and World at War, I believe. Yeah,
Ah.
so I guess
Yes.
5 technically.
so this is a sequel to the first game, isn't it?
Yeah. So some of the characters will return.
Right.
When he's set in the 80s.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the Russians. They're up to something. And it's down to the Black Ops team to sort the mess out, as usual. That's all I got from the trailer.
Ronald Reagan's there.
Well,
Ronald Reagan. That's a pretty impressive kind of bit of
it did look quite good.
CGI.
So, it like the start of a movie.
Mm.
I was impressed by the visuals. I was more interested by the actual interview with the developer, because they said that the story mode this time is going to offer more freedom to what you do in it. So there's different endings, there's player choices, and you can create your own character. So that's different. Yeah.
That sounds great. You know, I'm playing through the original Modern Warfare right now, and it just seems so on rails, for lack of a better phrase here. So that's nice.
This has got multiple ways to complete each mission. Optional objectives. It's going to be different to most that we've played. I like that.
Okay. There's no talk about multiplayer yet. I think
Not yet.
they're going to do that next week.
September 9th.
September 9th.
Yeah.
And there'd be zombies in there as well, because it's Treyarch, isn't it, who are making this one?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I always play a Call of Duty. I think I've done every one and played the campaign, and I always like a campaign. It's going to look beautiful, isn't it? Because it's going to be on the new consoles as well. A bit later
Sure.
on the. I think it comes out on the originals in November, and then maybe a couple of weeks later they talked about it being in the holiday 2020. And there's no free upgrade, is there? It's
there is, but you have to pay an extra $10,
Oh,
so
okay,
it's
fine.
not really a free upgrade. Yeah.
It's going to look great. It's going to, and also you've got the Warzone. It's tying into the Warzone game as well, which they're going to reveal as well, and that's interesting because Warzone's been really popular, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And Richard, you like this? Fancy this?
No.
Good. It's kind of insight I like. Straight direct to the point. Good.
A bit more positive than that about it, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Star Wars. More Star Wars. Squadrons. We had a new kind of campaign trailer. William, tell us about it.
Okay, so this is the first game, full game actually, from EA Motive, which is a smaller studio from EA in Montreal. I believe they were started by Jade Raymond, who was a producer on Assassin's Creed. And so this is sort of an expanded version of the Starfighter Assault mode from Battlefront 2, but with more flight sim elements to it. It looks like a lot of fun. I wish you could play in third person as well as first, but it genuinely looks like a great time. And the fact that it's a budget title, it's only, I think, $40 as opposed to 60 in the States. I think it could do quite well.
Yeah, I think the price is great, and it does because the campaign's probably going to be 3 to 4 hours, isn't it? That's what
that's what I've heard. Yeah.
But the multiplayer is huge. I'm getting more. I was kind of lukewarm with this when it first got, but actually I'm getting a bit more excited about it. Even though I'm terrible at these flight games, but I'm terrible at most games. But this does look. It looks interesting. Richard, what do you think?
I have pre-ordered this for the PlayStation because it's going to be fully playable in VR and it's going to have cross-play as well.
Wow.
I was a massive fan growing up of the X-Wing and TIE Fighter games on the PC. I even had a little joystick that was white. I remember it being white and being stuck in the window and getting really discoloured over the years. But yeah, so I was a fan of those growing up, so I'm really looking forward to this.
Wow, pre-order, well done. That's commitment. James, you put your pre-order in?
Well, I waited to watch the mission that they showed first. And after that, I was asleep. So, I wasn't pre-ordering.
Why are you asleep?
So boring.
Alright, wow.
It didn't even look good either. Visually, that mission looked awful.
Wow.
In the cutscenes afterwards, it looked great. But in the mission, I was not impressed.
Okay.
Not impressed.
Okay.
Well, personally, I think they do upgraded the stream, but still, it's not 100%.
Okay.
No.
That's fine. That's fine. James has killed our dreams of this being good.
Cheers, James.
Cheers, James. Poor Richard. Think about poor Richard's joystick stuck in the window, turning grey.
I'll save you some money.
Fall Guys Season 2 is announced and it's going for a medieval theme. There's not a lot to say about this because Fall Guys is great. Have you all played Fall Guys?
Yep.
No.
No. Give Fall Guys a go. It's good fun. Even if you only play for 20 minutes.
PC that can play it now, so yeah.
It's great fun, and the more stuff they keep adding, the better. The more kind of levels and games. I think there was a kind of chat about them. They're trying to make it so people don't become. I went on it yesterday just to have a quick go, and there was this seesaw level, and there's just a group of players who were just trying to keep the seesaw high constantly to stop anyone going over, and they looked at. They just looked like pros who've done it quite a lot. Just a little team of them, 3 of them, just keeping it between them. I thought, and I think the developers are talking about trying to keep it so people don't become brilliant at this. They're going to keep it. I don't know how they're doing that, but they're gonna try to stop that happening. Yeah, it looks good. More Fall Guys. Yeah.
Yep. And I think the scope's huge, isn't it? There's no limit to the types of costumes you can bring in and the types of arenas, and they've already come up with so many ideas. I think this could go on for a long time, this game.
And how are they making money from it? Because it's free on the PlayStation.
It has microtransactions for the coins and the premium outfits as well.
Yeah,
it's also the network effect. The PlayStation Network PS Plus brought in so many new players that it created sort of a fear of missing out, which got the Steam players to buy. It's sort of the same. It's the same strategy that Microsoft has used for Grounded and Sea of Thieves. So yeah,
great. Okay,
not similar.
Good. Yeah. Before we move on, just really quickly, there was a game that we're not going to talk about. There was a game that looked very like Grounded that had a trailer, didn't it? A similar kind of thing, and I did feel really sorry for them because obviously they were working it for a few years, and
just bad timing.
Bad timing. Sims 4, the Star Wars expansion pack, Richard. You're our Sims person.
Yeah. I have issues with The Sims 4 compared to other Sims. But The Sims 4 now has a Star Wars. And I think it's got story elements to it as well, hasn't it? So I believe you can play through a story in this expansion for The Sims. I don't want to say it gets me excited for playing Sims 4 again, but it does get me excited for it a little bit.
Can you build your own like bar, or what's it called, cantina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the trailer sort of showed off people taking existing houses and changing things around on them to give them more of a Star Wars aesthetic.
Right. Great. And I suppose, can you go off and get jobs as stormtroopers or something?
I don't know. That'd be quite interesting. But the thing with the jobs has always been in Sims that your character then just disappears for the working day.
Oh yeah.
And if you've only got one character in the house, you don't see them basically.
Great.
I think some jobs are a little bit more interactive, but the vast majority of them, yeah, they just disappear.
And what do you do then? Just wait.
Just wait. See the
God.
postman turn up.
But you can't do anything because you're like a ghost.
Yeah.
You're just watching.
You can. I mean, well, you pause it, but you can do some remodeling. Give your sim a nice surprise when they come home again.
Oh wow! This is a big expansion, isn't it?
It looks quite hefty, yeah.
Yeah. You two? Anyone else a Sims fan? William?
I'm a SimCity fan. I haven't played The Sims, and I'll admit, seeing like the 50 expansions and the $100 price tag to get them all is a bit daunting. But I don't know. This might get me into it.
They do like their money, EA, don't they, with their expansions?
They do.
Yeah. Good. Right. Let's have a quick go through a couple more. Unknown 9, which was a little... Well, it's quite a great kind of CGI trailer for a game that's coming to the new consoles, I think, isn't it? I don't think it's not the old one. And did it say 2021, or was there nothing?
I don't think it said anything.
Okay.
I believe, if I recall correctly, this is sort of part of the franchise that the developers are doing. So there's a book already. I don't know.
Yeah.
It looks interesting.
Yeah.
And a comic. And a podcast. And it all ties together.
Really?
Yeah. It's called the Unknown 9 Story World.
Did they say
Universe.
what type of game is it? Is it like
I'm not sure. I know it's going to be a bit mysterious and supernatural.
But it was intriguing, wasn't it? But we didn't know anything about it. Except those links. But it's something that I kind of went, oh, I like the look of this world.
In a different dimension as well that she goes into.
Yeah.
That was quite cool. It was different, it stood out, but we didn't really find out anything.
We didn't know
about
much,
the
did we?
game.
No.
No. It's an interesting universe. You should definitely look into it.
I'm going to move on because we don't know anything else. And I'm going to have a cup of tea while you lot chat about WWE 2K Battleground. James, what the hell is this?
Well, we got a new trailer that basically just announced that who the two commentators are on the matches. So you've got Jerry the King Lawler and Mauro Ranello, who are the most over-the-top commentators you could possibly get for the game. So that I'm working quite well. Because the game itself is a fighting game that takes the silly meter up to 11. Because it's going to be over the top. You're going to have ridiculous moves. And you have crocodiles. What more could you ask for? In a wrestling ring. Yeah, we saw a little bit of gameplay as well with Undertaker, Mankind, and Finn Balor. It wasn't much new, to be fair. He just basically said, let's mix the old with the new and create your dream matchups. That's what I got from it anyway.
So I don't understand a word you just said. So Richard, help us.
This to me looks like it was originally a free-to-play mobile game, and last year's WWE was so infamously buggy that they just thought, right, we're going to scrap it for this year and we're going to change Battlegrounds into our annual WWE release, but put it on consoles.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fine, but the problem with the problem with that's always been with the WWE games is they're just not very good. even as a fan, they're not very good games.
No.
So
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe this different approach might suit them a bit more.
Yeah. Because it can't
we'll
be any
see.
worse, can it?
That is very true. It's not going to be any worse than last year's.
I mean, joking aside with me saying I don't know what this talking about, but I would have a go at this. This looks a bit more fun.
But
And
that's
it's a bit more quick.
It's better for casuals.
Yeah.
Because there's not a simulation element. You have to try and master tons of moves.
Yeah.
It's like 4 different moves probably.
Yeah.
But I did like the fact that after launch, they are going to add, I think it's over 60 extra characters for free.
Wow.
So it'll start with 70.
Yeah.
And then another, we're going to double it basically after launch.
Wow.
So that's good.
That is good, yeah.
Because
normally they wouldn't.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
It's 2K. You know that they'll do everything to squeeze every last penny of you normally. So
Yeah.
that's good for them. Yeah, it's good stuff.
When's that out?
September 18th.
Oh, not so. That's quite close. Wow.
2 weeks-ish.
Wow. Good. I'm going to keep. Sorry, gentlemen. I'm just going to keep moving on. Scarlet Nexus, which we originally saw in someone's showcase, maybe the PlayStation showcase.
The Xbox showcase. The new one.
Right. James, do you know much about this?
Not really. I mean, I like the look of it. And it's about like using psychic powers to take on the weirdest looking mutant creatures
Flower
I've ever
ones.
seen.
Yeah, big flower headed
flowers
thing.
with legs. And was it a bull? I think we saw. A kind of weird bull.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked good again. I mean, it looked like different characters have different abilities that you can use. One created different clones. One had a sword. I mean, it didn't offer much else.
William, you must be upbeat about this.
It's not the sort of game that I tend to play, but you know what? It's good for the fans of these sort of games. I think it's good that Xbox has marketing with this, that they're helping out Bandai Namco, because Japanese support is very important, but this doesn't quite look up my alley.
It reminds me of Code Vein.
Code Vein, yeah.
Yeah, it has a little bit of, reminds me of that kind of world, which I think I went to one of the events, I think I was there, and I played 45 minutes or an hour of it badly. And visually it looks great. Same as Code Vein, the same as this one. I just don't know how I'd get on with it playing it, but I kind of like it. I like it's there. Like you said, it's important. It has that world, and it looks interesting. Good. I'm going to lead us on to a game that does interest me more than anything else. Is Little Nightmares 2, which looks fantastic. I'm a big Little Nightmares fan. I loved the first game. I thought it was brilliant. This kind of limbo stroke inside kind of very creepy world, very scary. You're traveling through like a platformer, and this one looks like it's co-op, isn't it? 2 people. It's you, the
Definitely
little
2 characters.
yeah, you and this other kind of character with a bag, like a
Yeah, Mono.
kind of like a paper bag over their head with 2 eyes. I think.
Yeah, I think it's called Mono.
Ah. And then you're traveling through again another kind of beautifully scary world again with some of the most terrifying images already. It's Tim Burton-esque, but ramped up to about 100. I'm really excited about this. And it's coming out in Feb the 11th, I think. It feels like it's coming out onto the Xbox, but it feels like PlayStation have sort of grabbed it as their exclusive or something. Have they got special something on it?
They're money heading DLC again.
Maybe, yeah, because it seems to be. It's coming to Xbox as well.
Yeah. I think it's going to the next generation later on as well.
Yes, and the Switch.
And the Switch. Great, yes. The Switch. I love these games. Anyone else a fan? Are you 3?
Too scary.
Too scary for you, James. Yeah. It is too scary. I would go with that. I'd ban you from playing that.
I just picked up the complete edition.
Oh yeah.
On sale. So hopefully we're getting round to them.
You're going to play it, so you haven't played it yet?
No.
Play it. And what about you, William?
Never played it, never even heard of it. But to be honest, after seeing this trailer, I'm like, okay, add this to the list of games that need to be picked up on the next Steam or Xbox sale, because it looks very good.
Definitely, I think definitely get the first one, and like good Richard that you've got all the complete edition as well. It's great. I think we gave it quite a high mark. I think Neil reviewed it maybe back in the day. He loved it, I think. Medal of Honor VR. William, what do we see here?
Yes, so Medal of Honor, I loved this series growing up. You know, I wasn't into first-person shooters, but Medal of Honor was the exception. I think I played the on-rail shooter, Heroes 2. I played the reboot, it was okay. I played some of the older titles on my PS3. I loved Medal of Honor. So to see it coming back has me so excited. To see that Respawn is doing it has me so excited. To see that it's Oculus Rift exclusive breaks my heart because I don't have VR. But this is sort of the thing that now, if I'm ever getting into VR, I'm going to have to go for a Rift because it has Medal of Honor. So I think their strategy is working there. It looks quite good. Like it looks very impressive for a VR title and for a shooter in general. So yeah,
there's something, isn't there, about I think the PlayStation will probably have an up next gen bit of VR kit, won't they? Do you think so, you two VR fans?
They're working on one.
Yeah, not for a year or two.
No,
I don't think.
Yeah,
and maybe these games will come to, if I was PlayStation, they would want to try to get Medal of Honor VR and the Half-Life game. That's what you would want when you're onto your consoles.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, because that would be a massive seller. If you can open your new VR bit of kit coming to PlayStation with those 2 games, that would be amazing. I think it's really great that Medal of Honor is back. I agree with you. I did love the old games. I can remember on PS2. I think it's good that they've gone down this way rather than they compete with the machine that is Call of Duty.
Yes.
Try something different. I do get worried about being in VR. It's like when we had the Hitman VR, we said about just basically sort of strangling someone close up in VR. It had a little bit. It's something. Yeah, I don't know what that experience is going to be like. Do you know what I mean by that? When it's kind of more real.
Yeah.
They're set in kind of more real worlds.
It's tough to. VR, from what I've played, is very immersive, even with less realistic graphics. But I guess if you're saying it seeing a model up close, given the refresh rate that they need for VR and the resolution, it might not look as good, but I don't know.
It's just the idea of killing someone face to face. Yeah, it's kind of different to killing robots on Beat Saber or something. You know, it's
looking them dead in the eyes.
Yeah,
if you're strong with it.
Yeah, watching the light go out of their eyes. I keep imagining Hitman. I keep going back to Hitman in VR. Just imagine just being in a cupboard frame, just waiting for someone to open the door, just in darkness. Oh dear. Yes, good. This does look good though. Thank you very much, William. That's great. I'm rushing through. Lord of the Rings, Gollum. We didn't see much. We saw a trailer this week, and then we had some of the developer just chatting about what you might be doing in this Lord of the Rings game, playing as Gollum.
Yes.
And what they were saying, it's quite heavily stealth based, as you can imagine.
It's not limited in books, is he?
You're not going to be getting lots of fights.
Destroying the fortresses one by one.
No. It's going to be stealth and puzzles, isn't it? It's going to be an exploration.
Yeah.
Is the idea.
Parkour.
Yeah, I mean, and parkour. Yeah, this could be good. I kind of like the idea that they're doing sort of like, it's such a strange choice to do. To choose a character that you know the end point of that character, where it goes to. Do you know what I mean? You know the story of it in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, they said it would be really heavy on the story side as well. So that means you'll get to see the inner workings of his mind a bit more, I suppose.
Well, yes, and that was the thing, wasn't it? They showed was the conflict he has between and you have to kind of try to get. I like that. That was a great idea. Trying to control his mind. That was great. But, yeah, I'm excited. I think, and this is new next generation, isn't it? And it's coming next year. Unless I've gone mad. Launch window. Okay.
Yeah, you say that to be safe.
Yeah.
Launch window.
Song of Horror, Richard.
This, I believe, has been out already on PC before, but coming to Xbox now. Then the trailer that they showed during Future Game Show, I think this one was, looked quite creepy. So there's a music box that plays a song, and anyone that hears this song, I think the person that hears this song in the trailer then disappears, and you play as 13 characters, all with connections to this person that's gone missing, trying to find him. But what stood out for me in this trailer was the guy doing the voiceover. It just sounded like a very 90s voiceover.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Yeah, you're right.
And it drew me into it a little bit more as a result.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm quietly intrigued about this one.
Yeah.
I think this one could be all right.
And was it episodic when it came out on Steam?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah,
whether we get it as one or as episodes as well, I don't know.
Yeah, it is something good about it. It's something that intrigues me about it as well. We'll wait and see. Anyone else Song of Horror? William and James?
Not for me.
James, not for James.
It reminds me of The Ring. What with music boxes.
I'm just happy to see new horror games. You know, we weren't getting some for a while. Resident Evil had gone all action, and now we're sort of in a second resurgence of them. So I'm always happy with it.
Exactly. And there's a game called Love, which I really like the idea of. It was just all these people in a sort of house, like a cube, like flats in a cube, and it looked like a puzzle game that you could move the sort of like apartments around and maybe change the story. Didn't really know much. Little indie game that I really like the look of.
Yeah, it looked cool.
It did look cool, didn't it? It was a sort of couple having an argument, and you could just change it around. It's about you kind of changing stories by changing the apartments around, changing the architecture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have a look at Love.
Very intriguing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a great song as well.
Yeah.
The song used in the trailer was amazing.
Yeah, really lovely.
I put it on my Spotify straight away.
Ooh. Sable, which I've been following for a while because I really liked it. It was what's the big American games conference that I've forgotten the name of? It's only been
E3?
E3. It's only been gone a year. And I forgot what it's called. It was shown at the last E3 in a little kind of indie panel, and I really I loved the visual style, the hand drawn visual style, and I got quite excited about seeing you're in this kind of like deserty, almost like it looks like Tatooine. Tatooine is that the name of the Star Wars planet?
Tatooine.
Tatooine. That's what they shout out. The Jawas. Tatooine. That it was this kind of like
Jar Jar.
very deserty kind of world where you're kind of you're this nomad that goes out and you're basically an exploration. It reminds me a little bit of Journey. You've got these kind of lovely machines, and it's the developers are talking about how it's all about easy kind of exploration. You're kind of thrown out there, and it's like, there's no kind of like you have to go here, you have to do that. Almost a bit Zelda-y as well, with the kind of like, I came across some temples. I really like the look of this. I think it looks astounding. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's very relaxing.
It does, isn't it? I think it's going to be a little hit. When's that out? Did it say?
I think it's still due this year.
Oh, really?
It's launch window.
Launch window, good. See, if I was Xbox and PlayStation, I'd be just grabbing everything. So, is it ready to go? Can we put it on? Ready to go in November. Because 12 minutes. William.
Yes.
We saw. Well, we heard a bit more about this, didn't we?
Yeah, so this was revealed at E3 last year at Xbox's conference, and it looked very intriguing. Time loops seem to be in now. There's this game, there's Deathloop, there's that shooter, Cullis Gate or something. That one looked good too. But no, this is a lot more narratively driven. It's from Annapurna Interactive, which is a film studio that has their own gaming division now. They're publishing, this is an auto-driven indie, but they've got a big cast for this now. They've got Willem Dafoe, they've got James McAvoy, they've got Daisy Ridley. Like, it seems that Microsoft paid for the exclusivity for this, and they seem to have put the money into making this game, as big as possible, while keeping it confined to a smaller scale game. I think this could be a sleeper hit.
What's interested me about it as well is that there was a different voice cast beforehand, so those poor sods have been sacked and they've got in the big guns from E3. But I think this intrigued me at E3. I mean, we didn't know anything else. There wasn't anything different we saw. Actually, we saw less, it felt like, didn't we, than we did before. But it's one of those games that I think everyone's really, really hyped up about. And it's a really interesting because actually it's just the concept that everyone loves. This idea of this kind of time loop that you're doing over 12 minutes. I think it's got everyone intrigued and about what that might be. They're still talking about it being this year, aren't they? This winter. Have I gone mad?
Yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
And I think you said about Microsoft putting money into it again. Would this be something they're trying to grab for the console release? Possibly.
Yeah, to sell those consoles.
I bet that's the hope. They've already grabbed it exclusively for the consoles, so I think, after Halo went, they'll take as much as they can.
Yeah.
So
anything that we've got, we can maybe approach them afterwards with the ideas. Yeah, for a game. William, again, I'm going to go to you. The Medium. We saw a bit more about this.
Yeah, speaking of third parties that Microsoft has paid to get for launch, so they've showed off a ton more of this game. We got to see gameplay that apparently may have been running on the Series X that isn't necessarily clear right now. We get to see more of the world shifting dynamic. It has a partially fixed camera like the old Resident Evil and Silent Hill games. And it just looks so interesting. Like, I love Blue Routine games, but they have a formula to them, so to speak. Layers of Fear, Observer, Blair Witch, they all play very similar. This is unlike anything I think they've ever made. It just looks so incredibly ambitious. And again, speaking of putting Microsoft money into things, they've got Troy Baker as the villain for this.
Mm-hmm.
And so he did an interview as well. And at first I'm like, oh god, Troy Baker, he's in everything. But his voice in this is so different, and it's being matched with this mocap that they did before the pandemic hit. And the physicality of this actor, he was supposedly doing mocap on stilts. Like, this game looks so incredibly disturbing yet exciting. And I think that with Halo gone, this is going to be the exclusive game that sells the Series X at launch.
Wow. When's it coming out?
Launch of the Series X.
Launch in the launch year?
Launch title. Release date.
Now,
like the day the system launches.
Really? Now, see, I'm confused here, right? Because the Medium can't run on the Xbox One.
No, it cannot.
So they made a guarantee, those Xbox people. This is what they said, and this is what screwed them over. Is that for the first year, you can play every game on Xbox One and Xbox Series X. Is that right?
Every first-party game. Third parties.
So third parties can go onto things. So that's what the thing. Okay.
And honestly, they only said that because the first one, Forza, wasn't going to be ready till 2021 anyway. So they just said that to cover their ass. I mean, sorry, but Psychonauts.
And this is where the sort of Halo rumors are, aren't they? The Halo rumors are it wasn't working on, which Microsoft has denied, but they said it wasn't working on the Xbox One S. That's why. That's one of the reasons. Okay, so the Medium. But they're talking about it being a launch title, possibly. Is that right?
Yes, launch title is what I've heard. At worst case scenario, barring a delay, launch window as in December of this year, not launch window as in next July. So, But yeah, this. So long as they're able to sort of take this over the finish line, and it's looking really polished, we should be playing this by launch.
I mean, it looks brilliant. I'm with you on this. It's not for James. James can't play it. It's a fantastic looking game, and I love that team. I really do like. I'm a big fan of the Layers of Fear. And have you all played Observer?
I'm just about it now. They've got references to the Medium in there. They've got little posters for the game in there.
I would wait because Observer's coming to the Series X and the new generation of consoles. And they've had a complete overhaul on the lighting and stuff. Wait till that comes to there, because it is, I think, and also they've got more gameplay. I think some more content. It's a great
system
game.
Redux. They're apparently negotiating with Microsoft and Sony right now that if you have the original Observer, you can get the new one for 80% off. Ooh. So they just need approval from Sony and Microsoft on this.
I think I reviewed the first one.
I think you did. It's such a good game, I'm more than happy to play it again.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, no, exactly. It's it looks amazing. That was one of the first games I saw with the new generation tech. Trailers, it looked outstanding. Good. Right, we've got only a couple more. We're nearly there. Richard's going to nearly get us home. Age of Empires, Richard.
I think it'd been rumored before, but announced during opening night live was Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition to go alongside the definitive editions of Age of Empires 1 and 2. And I believe that's coming out fairly soon.
October 15th.
On PC.
Yeah. Game Pass.
Why has it not come to consoles?
RTSs aren't really optimized for a controller.
But they've been done.
They have,
and they've been done well.
Hotkeys, yeah.
So I remember playing Age of Empires 2 on the PlayStation 2.
Yes.
A long time ago. Right. But I just, especially those types of games are just much more suited to a keyboard and mouse.
Right.
Definitely.
And so that's for UPCers. That's all right. So that's on the Game Pass.
Yeah.
That's good. Us Apple people, we don't get that yet. I'm afraid. We're just stuck.
Good.
stuck. Good. Thanks, James. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's fun. And also there's some Doom stuff. What was the Doom stuff? I'm not a big Doom person.
The first story expansion.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I've heard that you can buy this one without the base game though, so it might be sort of a standalone too.
Yeah, that was it. I think that was the big thing to come out. We knew it was coming, but they've said like Bethesda seemed to do. Really, I remember they did it with the Wolfenstein DLC for New Order. They released that as a standalone.
Right.
But yeah,
And-
I'm fine with that.
Good. And Destiny? What's going on with Destiny? I don't know. I can't remember. There seems to be expansions every day in Destiny. I don't understand. What's this one?
Brand new expansion, Beyond Light. It's coming straight to Game Pass, I believe, right?
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one coming to Xbox Series X as well on launch. That was a rumor. Is that right? Or was it coming before that?
Don't know on that one.
I think I made all this up. I thought
Because
that
it
was
was supposed to be before coronavirus happened. It was supposed to be next week that the expansion would have been to celebrate the new year of Destiny.
okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I don't know when it's coming to Game
It's coming out
Pass.
in November.
Because I thought
So it's probably launch day.
the console, the Xbox Series X, you were getting Destiny 2 on the console to begin with,
Yeah.
as part of the launch for free. Is that right?
The DLC is out 10th of November.
And the deal. Okay, right.
So when that comes out, you'll get
okay.
it for Series X.
So the rumours are heavy at the moment, aren't they? That we're going to get a. Before we wrap up, thank you gentlemen, for your brilliant jumping through. These are only a selection of games as well. There's much more.
It's more than more.
Yeah, you can go and see
hundreds.
the trailers. Some great stuff in these.
Bridge Constructor, Sam & Max.
Yeah, Bridge Constructor was Walking Dead mixed in. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that was so good.
Yeah. No, some great stuff
The
out
weirdest crossover ever.
there. So it's really exciting. There's lots of games coming. That's what I'm really excited about. There's loads of games coming. Forget, it's going to be busy. It's going to be really busy time. Console rumors. We're going to go back to our normal podcast next week. We might change a date because I think we're probably getting near a pre-order date, and this is what it costs very soon. My feeling it's going to be this week. Start of the
We're
month.
going to have to talk soon. Yeah.
Or we maybe get the events. Will they do an event? Do you think? Do you think they do an event, or will they do an announcement?
The rumours are they're going to do another showcase.
Okay.
That's the rumour. In September.
I think they're absolutely going to do a showcase. If the Series S is real, which by all accounts it's real, I think they really need to communicate how that differs from the Series X, but how that doesn't hold it back. Maybe show some gameplay. And as well, they've been very quiet this month. They didn't intend to be. Like, they've got a bunch of Game Pass news, supposedly a brand new partner. And, they really need to make up for Halo, because they put all their eggs in that basket, and that seemed to fall flat on its face. I think a delay was absolutely the right call for that game. But, when we're talking $500, $600 US and here $700, $800 Canadian, and I'm sure like £450, £500 for you guys, that's not an insignificant amount of money, and they need to really show what are the differences in power, what are the games that we have coming up in the first year, because they've got a lot 2022 onwards. I mean, Hellblade, Avowed, Fable, but you really need to show for now why we need to get this at launch. So,
and good. And the rumors are strong still that it's Xbox Series X 2 weeks before PlayStation. So Xbox Series X November the 6th, 5th being the Xbox Series S, and then PlayStation on the 13th. That's the rumors at the moment. Still.
Friday the 13th to launch a console. Are they out in mind?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Anyhow,
But I think we're near, aren't we? We're getting near. We're getting near. We're going to know more. And we'll be first people to chat about it here on the day it happens. Won't we,
Yeah.
Jeff?
Full of excitement.
Full of
Can't
excitement.
wait.
Yeah, and thrills. James, where can we find you if we want to chat to you about anything else?
As usual, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at OKidUKO. I'm not always this, let's say, downhearted. Is that the word?
Good.
Don't worry.
William, where can we find you?
you can find me on Twitter at DRVidGame, and as well, just a shout out to the Xbox Era forums, a community that was started out by Reset Era members who found the community a bit too console warrior-y on on both sides. It's a really great, quiet community, so come join us.
What's that called again, William?
Xbox Era.
Okay, great. Look out for that. Richard, where can we find you?
On Twitter at Dobbo1912.
Is that it?
Yeah.
What's your address?
Yeah.
Where do you live?
What's your bank details? And you can get me.
That's all you're getting out of me.
You get me at GB Briley on Twitter or Twitch. Please subscribe. Let us know what your highlights were of Gamescom. And we will see you this week, I think, won't we? Is it coming out? Thursday. Back to Thursdays, I think. Thank you very much. But don't quote me on that because it might change. Thank you very much, gentlemen. See you later on.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.